Welcome back to the show. It's week 15 of the Ravens Roundtable, and what started off as a casual conversation has turned into something I think is fairly great. It's anticipated by a bunch of people, just like a regular old sitcom. So Monday at 9 o'clock, if the Ravens not playing, you know where to be. And we're going to start our roundtable off. I'm bringing in our guest. First, we'll start off with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, Coach? Thanks for having me, man. Hope you guys are having a good night, and thanks for everybody joining us in the chat too.
Lot better than Saturday. Next up, we got Hendo.
What's going on?
Is it?
Pretty man, listen. you already know what time we on. It's Disappointment Monday. So
and next we got B Jose.
Listen, hey, what's going on, chat? What's going on, everybody? Listen, Hendo. Listen, the Ravens lost. His undefeated team in our dynasty league lost.
He didn't lose yet.
I've lost.
It's not over yet.
It's done.
Nah, man, you got to experience every single point.
This is where miracles happen. This is where miracles happen.
Not today.
Yeah, probably not.
Not today.
He already tapping out.
He needed 12 points. I think he has 3 players left and needed 12 points for the day.
Only has 2. All right, it's not over yet.
So, and lastly, Mikey, OTR Mike, who may or may not be in shortly, but we just want to make sure if he does not show up, send salute out to him. Recently came back from a nice little vacation, so interesting to get him on here when he get a chance and hear his thoughts about what transpired Saturday. All right, intros out the way. Let's start, our weekly recap. We'll start with the quarterback play. And I don't know why that's not a banner, but let's go. QB play, we'll start with you, Chris.
I give the QB play a D. I thought Huntley he looked terrible. He was it looked like everything was just sped up in his head. And he was rushing through his progressions, was ready to just bail out of the pocket instead of stepping up into it. And it was bad. He was missing guys wide open. It was just terrible. And I wonder if those were residual effects of the concussion that he had and maybe playing scared and having himself not wanting to take another hit. So I don't know if that has something to do with him just speeding up his process, because he looked rushed the whole game. He just looked like he was rushed. And it wasn't because of the pressure, because the O-line did fine. He was just getting himself into trouble by rushing and just bailing out of the pocket.
All right. Endo?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an F. He threw an interception. I don't know why the team is throwing the ball 20, 30 times. For me, we already know it's read 1, read 2, go. Mm-hmm. It was a couple of times when, like Chris said, they had a clean pocket. He was standing there, no pressure, and somehow he still took a hit. Like, he needs to learn how to throw the ball away. His decision-making is awful. He can't throw the ball further than 20 yards down the field. That's why I think a lot of the hits and a lot of the sacks come in, because he's gun-shy. He knows he's not a deep ball passer. For all the people that said that Tyler Huntley was up there with Lamar, or he was better than Lamar, I need some of whatever you smoking, because this dude, he just can't get it done, and especially against a team like the Cleveland Browns. But I put more of this blame on something we're going to talk about later.
All right. Rodney?
Yeah, I mean, he gets an F, but, it's not really Tyler's fault. He's not a good quarterback, and they put him in the position to fail. You shouldn't be, like I said, you shouldn't be throwing the ball 30 times with Tyler Huntley. But that said, his average was 4.8 yards per pass. If you add his QBR and QB rating together, it's still under 70. So, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of good there. Right?
Right.
It's going to be an F.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, F. And it's not just the passing, right? I mean, we know what's going on with the play calling is terrible. And, you got our best pass catcher dropping passes. So, it's not totally on him in that category. But he didn't run well either, right? And, I think that one sack that they called a sack, I mean, that's just him just running out the pocket and not throwing the ball away, just taking the sack, right? He had another play similar to that earlier in the game where, I mean, he scrambles and he just runs for -3 yards, right? Out the pocket, like throw the ball away. He just runs out of bounds. So just no situational awareness. Wasn't accurate. I mean, the interception that was thrown, I mean, the who was the corner? I mean, he ran the route for Sean Jackson, right? Like you didn't see that? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's too much stuff there. I mean, the bar set low, but they still couldn't reach that. That's a definite F for him.
Yeah, and he's an F for me too, just because he didn't look like he prepared to play football Saturday. His only good thing was handing the ball off to J.K. That's the only thing he did consistently. Handed off to J.K. and Gus, and that wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, F for them. Before we move on to running backs, I want to hit this super chat. Marco G says our expensive fancy bread wasn't there Saturday. All we had was leftover mold covered turkey sandwiches from last Christmas, and why Snoop's taking hits. I will say in his defense, he didn't take as many as he did the week before. The week before, he was trying to run over people, and this time he did bring out his ugly slide and tried to get out of bounds. For the most part, he just wouldn't throw the ball away for some strange reason. For me, it was stupid, but it's F is what he gets. Let's move on to running backs. Running back play. All right, we'll start with you, Jose.
I give them a B+, a B+, a strong B+. It should be an A+, but I mean, they didn't finish with any touchdowns. All right, and again, that's by another group that we're gonna talk about later on. But they ran great, man. J.K. Dobbins looked great. Obviously he's not 100%. That's the only thing, right? He doesn't have that burst, but man, Gus Edwards in that role, following up behind J.K. Dobbins, is a great 1-2 punch. And the O-line opened up holes for him. Everything looked perfect until we got to the red zone, and then it's just I don't know. But excellent. It's a strong B+. It's a strong B+ for them.
B.
Yeah, I mean it's an A- for me, but for the same reason that you had the 180 yards, I believe, between them, but you just like to see them get the ball into the end zone. J.K. obviously still not 100% coming back from the injury. Gus is just kind of, like you said, the number 2 guy in that tandem, but you'd like to see them, with that amount of yardage get into the end zone. But they did have very, very limited carries, so I mean it's a A-.
Hendo?
I'm gonna give him an A. Same reasons they said. The average is insane. What we average 8.6 yards as a team.
Yeah.
It would have been an A+, but everybody's been clamoring for their 300-pound fullback to get the carries, and then that one carry that we needed for that 1 yard, he couldn't get it.
That'd be me on that one. I definitely said it. I know you probably talking about me this time, but I definitely
right. I'm not talking about you, Coach, but just everybody's like, oh, on these short yardage runs, we need to get Pat Ricard in there to do his thing. He's 300 pounds. He can't be stopped. Well, if you look at my background, that linebacker pushed him back by himself.
Number 54.
54.
Jeez, man.
Chris?
Yeah, I give them an A. I thought they ran well when they had the opportunity. Unfortunately, they didn't have as much opportunity as I would have liked, as probably would have helped the team. But they don't control that, unfortunately. But I thought they ran very well. J.K. and Gus, I thought they did their thing on Saturday.
As far as me with the running backs, I give them an A-, simply because of the not getting in the end zone, and then that one play to record that I thought was a good call, and I thought was a good play call, but it just didn't work out. And a lot of people was like, well, you should just took the points. I mean, we would have got 3 then, but we still that would have put us at 6.
Right. So
what would it have mattered?
Yeah.
Honestly, looking back on it. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. Let's move on to some of these other cats before we get into the thick of it. Where do I want to go from here? Matter of fact, let's stay with a little bit of positivity. We'll go with O-line play. Jose,
don't want to stretch that out.
I give him an A. I went back and watched it. I went back, got a little bit of coaching me and said, I'm gonna go back and watch this tape, man, because I didn't find anything wrong that they did. Clean pocket for the quarterback. You know, I don't think they gave up a sack or any real pressure, to be honest, in the pass game.
We got 3
And
sacks, but that's probably from him running.
that was for him running out the pocket from what I could see, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might have. Did it happen in the fourth quarter? I didn't watch all the fourth quarter. They might have happened in the fourth quarter.
I'm not sure. I think we had like 2 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
okay?
Yeah, that was in the fourth quarter. 2 in the fourth quarter.
Okay. For most part, I thought they played pretty clean, and of course in the run game, man, they're opening up every gap, man, every hole. I mean, JK, all the juice that he was making is just because he couldn't make up his mind which hole to hit, right? I thought they had an excellent day. I give them an A all around.
B.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I thought this was a great game for the O-lines. Finally, what we keep saying every week, you want to see them do well in the pass game and the run game, and I think they did. Unfortunately, the pass game still couldn't get going, but that's not on them.
Right.
So that's an A, and obviously they were fantastic in the run game.
Hendo.
Yeah, I mean, I give them an A. They did their thing in the run game. They were supposed to. It's one of the worst run defenses since 2000. Pass blocking was solid. I know Jadeveon Clowney went out and Myles Garrett is still hurt from the car accident, but they did what they were supposed to do. And hey, can't take anything away from them.
Hendo hates giving out positivity, boy. Look at him. He's like, A.
No, they did. Listen, they did their thing. They get an A. Chris, mad at that.
Yeah, I'm with everybody. I give them an A. I thought this was one of Moses' best games of the season. He looked young and spry out there. He was pulling. He was moving dudes out the gaps. He was doing his thing. So I thought they looked really good. Like just the whole O-line looked really well there, and they played as one cohesive unit. And it looked like this was their best performance as a whole. Like there was no weak link on that offensive line on Saturday.
What up, Shug? For me, the O-line gets they get an A. They get an A. One person in particular stood out to me in various ways, and that was Morgan Moses. On those pulls, he looked awesome, especially when he pulled around and there was like a DB there. He tried to suplex them. I know he tried to get Newsom a couple times. Now, on his pass pro, especially when it was up against Miles, that looked bad, but that's just him. As a whole, for the most part, the O-line did fairly well in pass pro, so that's why I give him an A, because pass pro was decent, and like somebody said a minute ago, because the pass game sucked, that was not their fault. But and they obviously gonna always be better at the run than they are pass, because that's just what we how we develop the guys. I don't know, like if that's pass blocking the secondary, because we won't run the ball anyway. So, but again, I don't know why you don't go off the trend since you like to run so much, but okay. Next up, these fellas right here, and we're going to start putting them on milk cartons with Andy Isabella. Wide receiver and tight end play. We'll start with you, Hendo.
Ooh. For me, I'm gonna give these dudes the @ sign.
The @ sign.
The @ sign. They don't deserve a grade. I mean, listen, this is what we've been clamoring for. Hey, everybody's like, let's give these guys a chance. You spoke about it, and Jose spoke about this at length. You wanted to give Prochet his shot, give him his chance. The limited opportunities that he gets, he doesn't catch the ball, and he's supposedly known for catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When we need him the most, he doesn't show up. Devin Duvernay, y'all savior, your hope, y'all new number one. Where's he been? If it's not a jet sweep or a trick play, he can't get involved. He's even losing his touch when it comes to the return game. I mean, the first play of the game for us, he fumbles the ball, has to go backwards, and that just started the trend. Deshaun Jackson, 3 targets, no catches. And I give Likely credit. He caught his 2 balls. He got 2 first downs. I give him all the credit. But your man, number 1 tight end of all time, Mark Andrews, where's he been? What has he done? He let that dude take his lunch. He catch the ball and just stand there. And the guy was like, give me this. Oops. So yeah, they don't even. I mean, this is putrid, and I think it finally took for this one game for the rest of the world to catch up to us and see and finally admit Yeah, we ain't got it because they talking about bringing back Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I saw that today. People, man, come on.
That means we're desperate. That means we're desperate.
Think about how thirsty you got to be to say Sammy Watkins available after he got cut. Yeah.
And then I saw somebody put a picture of him and D-Rob in Chiefs jersey, talking about some reunited again, and it feels so good.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. I forgot about your man D-Rob. 6 catches for 29 yards and 2 fumbles. The first fumble he caused himself. He need the ball out of his hand.
That's because he carried like a loaf of bread.
How inept do you have to be? Then when we needed it most, he gets the first down. He's going to the ground and fumbles. Like this is what y'all wanted. This is exactly what y'all wanted as wide receivers. And y'all think, and listen, you can drink that purple Kool-Aid and smoke that purple Kush, but you think going into the playoffs, this wide receiving core is going to do something and keep up with the rest of these teams? Man, y'all must be dreaming.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Demarcus Robinson is an upgrade on what they wanted. Right? They wanted just Crochet and Duvernay in them, right? And Thailand. But,
Yeah.
Go ahead, B. I was going to call you next anyway.
I mean, they get an F, obviously. I mean, listen, if you, like Hendo alluded to, if you read it as 6 carries for 29 yards, it's not that bad. But it wasn't that. Again, these are all every play. It's just Tyler tossing the ball to somebody standing next to him and saying, "Go do something," and they can't do anything. We know that they can't do anything. But he like you said, he had two fumbles, lost one of them. Mark Andrews is basically missing in action. I know he led the team in yards, but it was 31. So nobody out there can make an impact. Most of them can't do their job to an adequate, level, to an expected NFL starter level. So, I mean, until further notice, it's probably going to be an F for this group.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, it's an F. They suck. Like they can't get open. When they do get open, quarterback doesn't see them. And when you do have the ball, like Hendo said, you fumble it, you put it on the ground. And it's like this offense cannot, they can't handle stuff like that. They can't handle those turnovers. And they're kind of like putting a nail in the coffin once you do that. If you do that on the Chiefs, they could make that up on offense, but not the Ravens. The Ravens cannot make up those huge mistakes like that. And I don't see how you could come in with a group like this in the playoffs and make some legitimate noise or put fear into other teams when you have Mark Andrews playing, like he's Eric Tomlinson or something like that. Like it can't work. He has to be and Mark Andrews at the beginning of the season.
Eric Thompson got in the end zone this week. So, he was real happy about it, but he got there. I think it'd have been a while, but
you through, Chris?
Yeah, I'm done.
Jose?
Yeah, F. So they said the last time a wide receiver scored a touchdown was back in September.
Week 8 was a score touchdown.
Or receiving
touchdown. Week 3 was a receiving touchdown.
Receiving touchdown. Week 3 was the last receiving touchdown by a wide receiver.
That was 3 months ago.
That is, I mean, look, you see what I'm wearing. I'm trolling a little bit. Channel 3, baby. Okay, where is your Channel 3 hoodie, haters? Okay, I was called a hater. Okay, he just needs an opportunity, right?
I know.
Listen. Look, I am not a pro shea hater. I said I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he goes out there and gets 1,000 yards. But every time I see this man on the field, he is making a negative play. Mm-hmm. And on that 4th down, and I see that receiver not hold on to that ball, I was like, oh no, that ain't Channel 3, is it? It is Channel 3. It is Channel 3. Look, man, we just don't have the talent here. That's obvious. And yes, we're a run heavy team, and you could say there's not a lot of opportunities for these wide receivers. But that drives home the point even more that we need better talent out there, because the little bit of opportunities that they do have, they need to make the most of it. And to everybody's point here, D-Rob had 2 fumbles. I mean, one could have been disastrous if it didn't go out of bounds, right? The other one, he just put it on the ground, just not securing the ball, just put it on the ground, and that was a first down catch. This is where we needed to get a little momentum and drive down the field and get some more points, and just not going to handle the ball. So, I mean, I don't see any hope for this wide receiver core. I don't think it's going to get any better. I don't know what's going on with Mark Andrews, man. His body language looked like he just wasn't into it. I don't know if there's an injury that's undisclosed there, or I don't know if he's checked out mentally. I can understand why, but he does not look like himself at all. This whole unit, all wide receiver, tight end, all of them, awful.
Yeah, my grade is an F also, and because when you're not gonna get a lot of opportunities, you got to make the most out of it. The fumbles by as Marco called it, drop, and I didn't get it at first instead of saying D-Rob.
He said D-Rob. D-Rob.
But they had 30 opportunities. Not saying all 30 of those were catchable balls, but that's the most they've had in a long time, and they did Jack SHIT with. So F for me from that group, and a lot of people ain't gonna agree with me, but I just been in a situation before where I've been called upon in like clutch time, like barely playing. Then when it's a clutch situation, I got to go in and try to be the savior. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why I feel what happened to Prochet this week. He only played 3 plays. 2 of them were fourth downs where the play had to be made or was a consequence. So if you're gonna play him, at least on the ball, at least let him be in the rotation and get because it was cold. So he was just sitting there with the hoodie on or whatever, and go in. And you got catch ball. And yeah, I know they NFL players, but they're humans too.
Yes, sir.
It's tough to come in that situation and you probably ain't been checked in all game because you when you don't play after a certain amount of time, mentally your mind start to wonder.
You know who it wasn't tough for, Coach?
Who?
Victor Cruz. He said, who? What?
For the Giants?
Yeah. He said, I'm going to make the most of my opportunities.
Oh, yeah, but Prochet ain't Victor Cruz, though.
No. Right. But my thing is, I mean, I understand you can't come in cold from a game and just pop in, but you get paid to do this for a living. And if you want more catches and you want more opportunities, when the ball is thrown your way, you catch it. Especially if that's what you're known for, especially coming out of college. Because that's all we heard about Prochet. His hands. Oh, he's not fast, he's not big, but his hands.
Look, we hyped up Prochet here. That's not on him, right? He's a guy trying to carve out a spot on the team and make a name for himself in the NFL. And look, we know he's not Victor Cruz. We know he's not these guys. But when you have a organization that says, "Hey, we like our guys," right? Hey, this is good enough. We're not going to try to get even marginally better. Mm-hmm. We put unrealistic expectations on these players. So that's not on Prochet. That's on them. I'm not even gonna blame us. That's on them. They're telling us that these guys can do it, and every week we see them not do it.
I disagree. I think what happened with Prochet, and this is gonna sound like I'm joking or whatever. I think he went on a campaign, right? And he kind of endeared himself to Baltimore fans. He was the great attitude guy, the hard work guy, the first in, last out guy, I'm running up the hill guy, all this stuff, right? And Baltimore fans ate it up. And all that was designed to keep him on the team, not get him on the field. He can't play, right? Mm-hmm. So he got more than he asked for because, listen, I don't want to hear about his opportunity, right? I picked up a guy in our fantasy league, Rashid Shaheed. Now, you don't know who that is. He's a wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. He's 24 years old, and he played, I believe, 10 more snaps on offense than James Prochet has this year, right? James Prochet has 62 receiving yards. He has 278 receiving yards for his career. Rashid Shaheed has 334 and a couple touchdowns this season because when he gets on the field and they give him an opportunity with the ball, he makes something happen. He scored touchdowns on his first 2 touches of his NFL career.
That's right.
But, when James goes out there, he's committing penalties. Mm-hmm. He's turning the ball over. He's dropping passes, right? So it is on James. Now, it might be a tough situation. Yeah. I mean, I can't even really buy into that because how tough is it to beat out Devin Duvernay and DeMarcus Robinson? But, that's neither here nor there, I guess. But the fact is, the situation that you're in is a situation that you're in, and you got to go make plays in that situation. If you're that guy.
I have 2 questions. What's the most popular position in the NFL?
quarterback.
The backup quarterback.
Oh,
Theoretically. So my question is, why in Baltimore is the most popular position the practice squad wide receiver? Because y'all forever talking about some goddamn practice squad wide receiver gonna come here. Shamar Bridges was not injured. Shamar Bridges just got cut, and they gave him an injury designation so they could kind of stash him away. So I don't know why y'all think Shamar Bridges is going to come in here and make a difference. We always put this pressure, this undue pressure on these rookies to come in here and save this franchise. Listen, he was an undrafted rookie for a reason. But y'all think he's gonna come in here and beat out DeMarcus and Deshaun and just be our savior because he's 6'5". So I guess being 6'5" is the reason that this passing game is gonna click now.
Being 6'5" didn't help Thomas Streeter.
Guess one sessions. Where is Andy Isabella? Who knows?
We don't know. And at this point, I don't even care because we can't throw the ball far as he can run. So at this point, who cares?
But being 6'5" does help. Like when you're a guy like Christian Watson and you have the other.
But that's different.
And Baltimore could have had him, but they look for the measurable, the height, the weight, the speed without the skill.
Just the height and speed. No mental fortitude. No football IQ.
They never mention that during their press conferences. They never say we look for football players that can play. They just say we look for height, weight, speed.
Have we ever heard them say they're looking for dogs?
Never. You would never hear them say that.
Not from Harbaugh. No,
they're not. They're not at all.
I'm not gonna beg you to come here.
Dog's scared, John.
So I think that wraps up the offense, and I'm gonna do a little self plug right here. Right. My More Sip the Tally channel has hit 250.
Let's go.
Nice. I'd appreciate everybody. It's in the pinned comment. If you go over there and follow that channel. Some good football stuff over there too. It just won't be Ravens related. Now, there is an instance where a certain quarterback may not be on a certain team a certain year next year. And if you still want to follow a certain quarterback on not the Ravens team, but still get good content, that More Sip the Tally channel.
Where you think Snoop gonna go?
Let me ask y'all this, chat. What's better than Sip to Tally Films? More Sip to Tally Films. Hit that subscribe button right now. It takes 2 seconds. Go over there, hit the subscribe button.
Facts. Come right back.
All right. Let's move on over to the defensive side. No, we ain't got to go to the defensive side. Yeah, we did O-line. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I was out of order on my little thing over here.
Yeah, we kept the positivity together.
Running back and O-line sure did. Right. D-line play. Guys in the middle. Start with you, Chris.
I thought they played well. They were, harassing what's his name? Deshaun Watson through the game. For the most part, they had Chubb in check for the most part. But then, later on, it just looked like they were getting gassed at the end of the game because the offense couldn't do anything. So they were just put in terrible positions. But I thought the interior played well. Brent Urban, I think, had a sack. I thought he played well. Broderick Washington, he's been keeping up his level of play, and he's looking like one of the best D linemen we have, to be honest. And Calais too, man. Shout out to Calais. Calais, he did his thing before getting injured, but he was looking spry again, and it's like he has the fountain of youth with him because it's like anytime he's left one-on-one, he's winning that matchup. And you constantly see him getting doubled, and he's opening things up for his teammates. And it was fun to watch. I'm just hoping that his knee injury isn't too bad and will keep him out long.
Hendo?
They get a B- for me. Like Chris said, they played strong. They did theoretically what they were supposed to do against this team. Chubb has killed us for a lot more than he did yesterday. On Saturday. But the play that gets me is the 4th and 1 at the 6-yard line. They were up 6-3, and that could have kind of tipped the balance in the game. And we knew they were giving the ball to the running back, but we still couldn't stop it. But for the most part, they played well in the game. I give them that.
Me?
Yeah, I would give them a C. I thought they played pretty well. But not great. Right. The Browns did run for, I believe, 140 yards, low 4 yards a carry. You know, Nick Chubb almost hit 100 yards. So, I mean, it wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't bad. So I give it a C.
Jose?
Yeah, C plus. They look solid all the way through. They Calais Campbell's been having an excellent year. All right. Doesn't really look like he slowed down, with his age. Broderick Washington, look good. They're getting pressure. Unfortunately, I grade the defense a little bit harsher than I grade the offense because that's, like you say, that's where all the groceries are. So we need them to do a little bit more, right? That's just the expectation. So yes, on 4th and 1, we need you to get that stop. We might, you're getting pressure. Sometimes we need you to get sacks. We need you to make a couple more plays to help keep us in the game. They weren't able to do that. It's unfair to put that on them, but that's what the organization did. They're putting that expectation on them, so they didn't quite reach that level. But I mean, they played well. So C plus, I think is fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a B. Like you said, Chris, I really like what Washington's doing. Calais, I think, played a few 2-minute snaps yesterday, but that's because we were on defense a lot. But I really like the rotation. Travis is in there, and he's not playing as bad as he did early in the year. He's not making a bunch of plays, but he's not being blocked into linebackers now. He's not getting pushed back to in the lap of Queen and at the time it was Uncle Bynes.
Yay, mediocrity.
He ain't like he ain't even say nothing. Straight faced.
He's like, what?
And but again, they doing what they paid to do, so no complaints there on them. I give them a B. Moving on to the edge guys. That'll be our outside linebacker. The much anticipated return of Superman himself in a number 90 jersey. Everybody was clamoring for him. I think somebody said he was gonna get 3.5 sacks his first game. He's gonna get 10 sacks, for the season. And lo and behold, let me give you some hard truth here. Hold on, give you some hard truth. 1 second.
What?
David Ojabo.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down to defense.
Okay.
And he had 1 play.
Yep.
And 4 special teams plays, which were all punt returns. So I'm not sure how a guy that's supposed to have 10 sacks in a season, no matter when he comes back, is going to get 10 sacks unless he get 1 sack his every 1 play, and that still ain't 10. Oh, we got 3 games left.
Yep.
So sorry, people. Ojabo is not Wolverine, even though he played for the Wolverines. Now moving on to the rest of the outside linebackers. Jose.
D, man. I just didn't see them do anything out there. Right? Like Justin Houston had a nice sack until they called a face mask on it. I know Owe had half a sack. He split with Patrick Queen. I'll give him props for that. But I mean, man, look. Credit to the Browns. They had a lot of quick plays. They got the ball out of Deshaun Watson's hands fairly quickly. But again, you got to do something. You weren't helping in the run game. You're not getting any pressure. You're not getting close to Deshaun Watson, man. Like I can't give you anything better than a D.
B.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the D minus for the same reasons that Jose mentioned. It's just not. Look, like I said earlier, you're not a defense that can go out there and just hold a team to 13 points and just be like, hey, we did our job, because that's not the way the team is built. The team is built for you to win the game, and you have to make plays to do that. You have to turn the ball over. Sometimes you have to score points, especially when Lamar Jackson isn't in there, right? You can't expect Tyler Huntley to go out there and do what Lamar Jackson does with that offense. And that's why the points have dropped from 25 a game down to 9, right? So, I mean, it's time for that defense to step up the way the Ravens defenses used to step up, which was just, hey, don't turn the ball over, and we'll go out and we're going to score and we'll win the game for you. Just don't give them any extra points, right? That's what they used to say to the likes of Kyle Bowler and Chris Redmond and them, right? Well, if that's the kind of defense that you want to have, then that's how they have to play, and they're not playing like that.
And
So, I mean, I'm sorry.
They said that Trent Dilfer too.
Oh yes, Trent Dilfer. I don't know what I'm talking about him, but yeah. So that's the standard that the Ravens organization is saying that they want to hold this defense to. So it's a D- for them.
Yeah.
Kaji did say that Huntley was commanding the offense.
2 plays in.
I didn't hear him say anything this week though.
He ain't said anything since.
I ain't seen him.
He must have been busy.
I ain't seen him in a while. Maybe his internet messed up or something.
Yeah.
Maybe his
I
brother
know he was
called him and told
clamoring
him
to
shut the hell up.
come on the vault to say something. I know, he was asking for that, but I don't know if that happened.
It happened.
But anyway,
Okay.
I kind of lost where I was. Who next?
I'm next.
Go ahead.
I mean, I thought they played all right. Nothing spectacular, but it's not like they were getting trampled in the run game. What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah.
Watson, he was doing a good job of getting the ball out quickly, not really holding on to it the way he normally does.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a factor in it as far as the linebackers not really getting that much pressure on him. But I felt like they had an okay game, nothing spectacular, but I don't really think they did anything bad to per se.
I give him a C, and that C is mainly on the play of Bowser. Bowser is still the only guy that can positively rush the passer, then drop in coverage and do stuff. We still have guys dropping in coverage that are not coverage guys just to say we're doing it. Bowser is the only guy that needs that job at the moment. He's the only guy that can rush the edge one play, then line up in the same position and rush the passer. I mean, drop in coverage and then rush the pass. That's what I meant. So I give him a C just off his play because he's been playing lights out since he came back. But as a whole, like you said, we need to get those sacks. We need to get those sacks. We need to get those turnovers. We need to get the ball out. We need turnovers because our offense need more opportunities than the other team's offense to at least get to 13 points, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
So I'm going to give them, after consideration, because I was going to give them something better, different, but Jose and Brodney kind of convinced me, lower it down, dumb it down a little bit. They get a D. Somebody said that, they did their job. They didn't do anything to hurt. They actually did, because on that third down play from Justin Houston, that penalty gave him a first down, and they actually drove down and scored. So,
sure did.
Yeah, but he ducked his head down. Like that's
I
hard
didn't like
to do.
it,
Like in the moment, he ducked his head down.
That's an effort penalty.
No, Chris, I would normally get that to you, but Justin Houston is known for penaltying himself out of sacks. He did it like 6 times last year. He get a sack and he'll do something stupid, taken away. So I mean, I get that, but this is where our money is. This is supposed to be one of the strongest groups of our team. And listen, 13 points under normal circumstances, you applaud that and you give them credit for it. But the way that this team is constituted and built, it's not going to work, as we see.
We see it. Somebody else don't.
I mean,
B and Jose, I get you guys.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
D
Just making
me.
sure. Making sure I ain't missed nobody because I lost my train of thought a minute ago.
I mean, I might be tempted to bump the grade up to a C just based off of Tyus going on IG with the fire grade Roman. But I don't know if we're
I was gonna get to that when we got the coaching
off the field stuff here.
Thanks.
But you know what? Honestly, since you added that, let's talk about it. And because you added that, I'm gonna bump it up to an A-. Because so Tyus's play on the field and Tyus's subliminal messages off the field.
Yeah.
So
No, coach, it gets downgraded. He deleted it. You can't keep it.
He can delete it. That's fine.
No,
we all seen it. We all seen it. We all got it.
Be a man and stand by what you say.
Man,
He didn't listen. He didn't do that.
Said something.
No, you didn't hear the story behind that. Somebody infiltrated the facility and left all these notes that said fire grade Roman. He was just getting, collecting some evidence.
Which is why you shouldn't delete
He's
it.
reporting.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's evidence, why it's illegal. You can't delete evidence.
Well, how y'all feel about it? I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. But I will say to whoever's doing that, trust me, there are cameras wherever you're at. And if you're anywhere close to that facility, there are cameras. So
Let me ask you this, Coach.
you better
Did
be
you
careful.
have you heard any reports of anybody being arrested, anybody being identified? That's because
it was one of the players.
bingo.
It's an inside job. Ocean's 13.
I heard the perpetrator was wearing a Channel 3 hoodie.
And you know what? I don't blame him. If it is him, I'm blaming one bit at all.
That wouldn't it? But you know, it was somebody on the defense.
Yeah. They say Lamar being petty. I don't think he was there.
No, it was defense, coach. Like this team's starting to get separated. Like
this was an away game.
Yeah.
So did they claim to see those when they pulled back up, or did they saw them when they were coming back out of the castle? Because if you didn't see them when you went in the castle, right, you know somebody from the inside the castle wrote them and put them outside there.
Yeah.
Because this is an away game, so we came back together, and then you got to leave in your car from the castle, whatever. So,
And the team is not splitting apart. John just told you the team is together. Everybody's together. They're working hard. So what happened is some people on the offense pay somebody on the defense to do that, and then they told Tyus, "You go ahead and put that on your social media. We don't want that coming back to us."
Right.
I think he's right. They are together. Have you heard anybody defend Greg Roman?
No.
I think they all in unison. They want him gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody defended him. Right. Or defends him.
But I think the saddest part for me is he's not coming back next year, but it's not because John Harbaugh had the balls to fire him. It's because his contract is expired and they're just not going to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's hope. Yeah, let's hope.
This time last season, I was 100% positive he wasn't going to be the offensive coordinator this year.
Yeah,
this is true.
And I thought Wink was safe.
Right. Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, let's move to the next order of business. And these guys kind of, where is it? I don't see it. Let's talk about inside linebackers. Oh, I got it right. Okay. Let's talk about inside linebackers. Pat Queen and Roquan. To me, I think they took a step back this game. Didn't play bad, but I give them a C because, we hadn't been seeing missed tackles and we've seen some overran plays, and so I'll give them a C for that right there. But this is probably their worst game playing together as a duo, but they still did not play bad. Like the fact that we only gave up 13 points, we should at least be in that game in the fourth quarter, at least, but we didn't. So I'll give them a C. Jose?
Yeah, a C. Yeah, I'm with you. They some misplays. Patrick Queen was out of position on that one touchdown, right? That sucked. But now I love the way Roquan plays, man. Every week he's out there, he's all over the place. But no, it was an off day. I don't think they were awful, but again, I grade them. I grade them a little bit more harshly than I do the offense. I think they did everything. They didn't do like too many things wrong, but you got to do more. Especially that unit. Mm-hmm. That unit we've invested a lot in. We need them to be like they were last week, getting interceptions and turning the game for us, and they didn't do that. So actually, I give them a C minus. I give them a C minus.
All right, B.
Yeah, it's going to be a D plus for these guys. And again, it's like you both said, not that they made any huge mistakes, but you have to make positive plays. It's like we talked about with Patrick Queen all those weeks ago when you said, hey, he was, he did the right thing on 65 out of 69 snaps. Mm-hmm. And we're like, but those 4 snaps cost him the game, right? Mm-hmm. When he got ran over by Matt Stafford or whoever it was, I forget now. But, you need these guys to, they have to do more. They have to make a more bigger impact on the game, right? Cleveland shouldn't be running for 140 yards on you. Nick Chubb shouldn't be close to 100 yards. You had to shut that down. That's the kind of commitment you made to the defense. That's the kind of resources you put into the defense, and that's the kind of output you would expect.
For clarity to those listening, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's saying the way the powers that be have set the team up, the defense needs to do all these extra things that he's mentioning. He's not saying that. You don't take it out of context. He's saying because the team has put so much money, so much effort, so much emphasis on defense. They can't just go out and get stops. They have to, well, have the team punt the ball. They got to get turnovers. They have to we have to get 3 and outs. We have to do the extra special things as a defense because that's the way the powers that be have set it up. So don't take the words out of context because somebody take it and run with it.
Right. And yeah, like what I'm saying is if the trade deadline move was trading for a wide receiver instead of Roquan Smith, this would be a higher grade right now because you're working with less. The offense is expected to do more. It's more of a balanced team, but it's not that way. You can't expect this offense to put up very many points. And so you have to expect the defense to do more unless, and this is perfectly fine, unless your expectation is to just lose.
Right. It's the equivalent to like when you play Madden and you have your little 3 circles with your overall, your offense, and your defense. Your offense probably looking at like a 45. Defense probably like 85.
Yeah.
That's what we got on the team right now. That kind of balance don't work because it's just not balanced. But go ahead, Jose. Unless you already been already.
I went. Yeah. I gave him
Chris and Hendo.
Yeah. I mean, that the one play that sticks out is the touchdown play because Patrick Queen, he just looked like he was lost on that play, and that's inexcusable. If you drop it in your zone, you got to make sure that you're there. You can't over pursue that. Why are you running towards the sideline if you got Marlon right next to you, who's next to the sideline? Be smarter than that. Stay in the center. Break down. Don't overplay. Because that's Patrick Queen from earlier this season, where we would see him try to do too much. And that was him doing too much instead of trusting his teammates and staying disciplined. And it cost them a touchdown.
If he stay where he is, not saying he stop him, but he at least in position to attempt to make a tackle. He ran himself completely out of it.
Yep, and that's the part that just pisses me off and stays stuck in my head.
Trust the other guys around you. 100% agree. Hendo?
I'm gonna give him a C. Patrick Willis and Eval Bowman, they didn't do anything to hurt the game. Roquan Smith, listen, I think it was a great acquisition, and I think he's had a positive impact on the team. But one thing that I'm mad about him is I don't think that he's actually passed on his knowledge, his techniques to Patrick Queen on how to actually cover. Because this isn't the first time, and even that touchdown play, he's been out of phase all game. Like he was out of position a lot of times. Patrick Queen still can't cover. No matter how fast he is, no matter how athletic he is, he still can't cover. He's not a complete linebacker, in my opinion. He's played better, but they need to strip the ball. They need to get these turnovers, like Rodney said, being that they get the most money, they get the most attention. But I still see people in the chat talking about the defense did this, but the offense didn't do that. Well, what talent do we have on offense? What talent are we paying for on offense? We're paying for all this talent on defense, but we can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. But yet and still we keep pouring money in it. And I'm sure you're going to say come off season, we need to go get another cornerback because all I've been hearing all day is what's the boy from Baltimore that went down early on? Fuller. Oh, Fuller was here, things would be a lot different. No, it wouldn't. And my thing
already.
Yeah, and another thing is, if that were the case, why do we keep drafting and bringing in all these cornerbacks? If somebody goes down, isn't the next man up? Because if it isn't, we need to stop bringing in all of the same position, and then stop giving the defense excuses as to, well, they did their part, they did whatever. No, if they'd have got off the field on that 4th down, the game would have been different. If they'd have caused a turnover or stopped Cleveland from going down the field on a 6-minute drive, things would be different. So let's not give them praise for doing the bare minimum for their price range.
Preach. So on that note, as Reverend Dope finishes, let's go to DB play. Let's go to DB play. And that includes all of them, safeties and corners. Jose?
I'm giving them a D+. Again, I don't think overall the defense did not play bad, right? They're getting lower grades just because, like we said, like they have to do more. I thought Kyle Hamilton did really well in that game. he got a sack. He had a good he had a good pass breakup. I think in the second half. He looked fine. Everybody else, I mean, Marlo I think had another strong game, but it's one of those things again where at the end of the game when we need you guys to to get the ball back for us, they're not able to do it. Or the other team just decides we need to score on this drive. We can't deny them. They just go down the field. They pick up big chunks of yards. And they do enough to get ahead of us. And like we have to impose our will, right? Mm-hmm. And the secondary was supposed to be the strongest unit. They're supposed to be the strongest unit. And I understand, we've had injuries and everything like that. But as much as we invested on that side, even for backups, right, through draft and whatnot, there's just no excuse for it. And they just look very average, in my opinion, yesterday. Like, yes, overall we're going to give it 13 points, but we know what it is. We know what it is. Like, you have to do better. So, I mean, again, didn't play bad, but not good enough. So, it's got to be a D+.
You said D+?
D+.
Okay. Chris.
Yeah, I thought they had a fine game. I give them a B. It wasn't shut down or anything like that, but they didn't give up any big plays like they did against the Steelers. Like, there weren't any huge game-breaking plays like the one with Pickens and then the one with Deontay Johnson. There weren't those type of plays. They kept everything in front of them. Jose said it, but Kyle Hamilton, he played his ass off that game. He played a really good game. As far as coverage, just being around the ball too and getting a sack and just he was all over the place. He was like that Swiss Army knife, and he does. It's good to see him doing it, and it's kind of like the game is slowing down for him now, and he's starting to feel more comfortable and moving faster. And I just hope we continue to see this with him, and he can blossom into what everybody pretty much expected him to be coming out of Notre Dame.
We need that. We need him to.
Yeah. Need him to live up to that. What number that is, Hendo?
14.
14. You need to live up to it. Even though
it ain't happening.
In Hendo's eyes, it's too late to live up to it. You're supposed to live
it's
up
not
to
too.
it.
It's not
so
too.
You step on the field.
No, coach. See, that's where you get it wrong. It's
your turn to speak to.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
So it's not when you first step on the field, coach. But when you start calling people, and I think these younger people now, they just start throwing around that word generational. They're like generational. Now they're backtracking and saying, oh, I didn't say he was generational. I said he's a generational box safety.
What?
That's what they talk about now. Kyle Hamilton is a generational box safety, whatever the hell that means. You don't give up the 14th pick for a generational box safety. But overall,
not Jason. It ain't no word.
Yeah. Overall, I give them a C. They played decent. They didn't give up any big plays. We just need to see those turnovers. We need to, on those third downs, we need to get those stops. We need to figure out what we're going to do with the slot cornerback. That's most of all.
Right now, that's Kyle, and it's out of position for him. His in my opinion, his grades would be higher if he could just play one of the safety spots and not have to cover slot receivers. Because when he covers slot receivers, that's when his grade go down for me.
Oh, isn't that what generational talents do?
Yeah, I was say you don't get drafted 14 if you just.
Isn't that what 14 overall picks do?
Not generational box safeties, no.
No, but that's not what you said in the beginning. We said he was a generational
box safeties. Cover tight ends and blitz.
Well, right. You mean the number one tight ends, not the number threes?
Hey, I just said tight ends.
Numbers
are numbers.
Where did Micah Parsons get drafted?
11th.
Because he was great at middle linebacker and on the edge, right? Like he just wherever they put him, wherever they put him.
That's generational though.
Hey, Brodney, how many games did it take him?
It was
about
5 games.
About 3. It was
pretty quick. It
was pretty much immediately. Oh, you counting the preseason games?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm
sorry. But listen, I mean, once again, it's nothing against the kid. It's just we could have gone in a different direction to kind of help further this team. Because, like I said in another stream, what has this draft class done to help move the needle for us? Now they've made spot plays here and there.
This recent one or
Yes, 2022.
Okay.
What has any of them done to move the needle for this team going forward?
I mean, Linderbaum's been good.
But now, that's my guy. That's my guy. Except for Linderbaum.
Yes.
It's
Except for
3 points.
Well, I mean,
Look,
man, they
linemen
would have had 0.
Yeah.
But
moving that needle from L to L.
But listen, I have to say, we all saw that play at Florida State, Notre Dame, where he went across the field, made that interception. I guess I'm done.
Go ahead.
Brady just always like to go where it hurts.
It's not my fault you're a Florida State fan. I didn't make that choice for you.
Wow. But everybody keeps bringing up that one play.
You brought it up.
It was 2 in that game. It was 2.
But that's the one that they always speak of. So I thought contractually I had to bring it up as well to keep perpetuating that he's a generational talent.
You're right. To keep the flow going. I got you.
Right.
B?
It's going to be a D. Kyle Hamilton played really well. Okay. Cooper and Peoples-Jones caught 8 of 10 targets and had a touchdown, and that's kind of the difference, right? So again, it's the same thing with the other position groups. You're not making a positive impact on the game. It's more of a neutral, hey, we're not doing anything too bad. We're not really hurting the team, but you're not making the positive impact, which is what this group has to do when you have All-Pro Marlowe, former All-Pro Marcus Peters, the big-time free agent of Marcus Williams, the number 14 overall pick in Kyle Hamilton. You have to make positive impact, positive plays to really help the team, to change the game. And they just don't, they're not doing that right now. This week, I mean.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I'm looking at the chat and they're like, hey, look, the team only gave up 13 points, right? Like the defense played well. But, we all know all NFL teams, except the Chiefs, play conservative football, right? So, they're going to do just enough to win the game. And, when I see stuff like this, like, yes, they played well overall, but there's some drives when they needed to get down the field. They just got down the field with little resistance. And my thing is, what would have happened if we put up more points? What if we were able to score 21 points? Would this defense still hold their offense to 13 points, or would it have given up 24 points?
All right.
It's funny that you asked that, because when it was Jacksonville and the offense scored, what was it, 27?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't they scored 27. It's on the
Right.
defense. It was, oh, well, in that situation, you got to score more than the 27 points you did.
And it go back to your point, B. The way the team's constructed, the defense just has to do more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I labeled them as the groceries and the offense as the bologna sandwich.
Charcoal?
Yeah.
With the good bread. And the good bread hurt. So now we eat bunny bread.
We eating the heels.
So I don't know what else, but you finished, B? I'm gonna do my spiel. Now I give him a B. I think 2 played well, and I think 2 played average or bad at that. Marlowe, he played a better game than he did. Some jump balls that I thought that guys had were taller than him and that he defended. Yeah. Kyle played, good until they was able to put Cooper on it. Kyle probably could have had probably an A grade, but when they put Cooper on him, that grade went straight down. But ain't a lot of guys out there can defend Cooper. But anyway, Marcus Peters is getting on my. Hold on. All that whining, man. Like I can't. As a competitor, I don't want you on my team if you're gonna continually whine. Make the play, and if you can't make it, understandable. If you get held, you get pushed, so be it. Mm-hmm. Talk to the ref when the play over with.
Yeah.
But then he got hurt, so now you got to put 21 in. And that's drastic. So not only somebody mentioned slot corner, but now we got to worry about the outside corner too.
Yep.
Because he my age and he ain't coming back soon. Peters.
Yeah, he's done.
So the way he was walking on that.
Until his last game as a Raven.
Possibly. Definitely possibly. But that's what I mean. I think Kyle has gotten a lot better from that Dolphins game, and the Dolphins game will always be the bar because he basically powered the comeback himself. And he's playing better. Jalen Norman Davis missing in action. Pepe missing in action. I'm just going on that draft window that you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start at the top. Hamilton, not 14 value, but okay, right?
Yeah.
Linderbaum is going well and above and beyond what I thought he was going to be with those. What the issue was, the short hands or short arms or whatever they said it was.
Mm-hmm.
Ojabo, had this miraculous punt return debut. So I'll leave it incomplete there. Travis has been meh.
Not first round, Travis.
That's not first round.
Just say he's been bad. That's fine.
Somebody said he was first round talent, got in the third round.
I thought so.
I thought so too. I'm not.
I could be wrong. I don't mind being wrong.
I mean, I wasn't talking about you, Coach.
You always say that. Now I know you be talking about me because you said
no. He's in the chat. He actually made a video, but I don't want to call my man out. He's in the chat. He made a video about it.
Oh, okay.
He said we got 3 first round talents.
Yeah, I thought Travis was that guy too. I really did. And not just because of the Connecticut stuff too, kind of how he held his own at the Senior Bowl too. But I could be wrong. Falele, another draft pick I like, but he just ain't ready yet. Jalen Norman Davis, we talked about. Kohler is in the same boat with Ojabo. We don't know if he's Bigfoot or Andy Isabella, or we don't know what he is.
Loch Ness Monster.
All right.
Jordan Stout, who I thought could punt at 80 yards, can only punt at 80 yards when nobody's around. Likely's been okay. For a fourth round guy, Likely's been okay.
I like him.
Pepe we talked about, and then Batty is on the milk carton with Andy Isabella. So it's a whole crew of guys that are missing from the castle. So Eric DaCosta, we need you guys to put out an APB for Tyler Batty, or Beatty, however you say it, Charlie Kohler, and Andy Isabella. Find those guys, and maybe we can at least get 6 yards out of them.
So that's like what 5 guys that you mentioned from that class who just don't even play, right? Ojabo, Williams, Davis,
Batty,
Kohler, and Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
Why y'all keep all them picks? Why did you move up and get a player who can make a difference?
That's look again,
and
and that's why every week I have to give Eric DaCosta an F, right? Because it always comes down to what we don't have on this team. Shout out to our guy Sonny from SCG Sports, man. I saw him tweet out, man, we got to bench Devin Duvernay. Who you gonna bench him for?
Right. Yeah, he said cut crochet and bring back.
Who you gonna bench him for?
Check this out. Get story time real quick. So we're playing in my hometown, and a friend of mine is the head coach. I'm the OC and receivers coach. And so our quarterback, he goes out there and basically calls his own play. And so I'm on the sideline, fired up. Get his man out there, coach. Coach look down there. Who else we gonna put in? I say, okay.
The value of self-awareness right there. He said, they can't bench me. We want to
clap it up.
I do what I want to. Who else they gonna put in?
Well, and it's like somebody mentioned they're already projecting Baltimore to draft a corner next year in the first round, right? Like, we've been saying that all season that Marcus Peters is going to be out. They're going to draft a corner. So you're already saying, hey, not really expecting too much out of Brandon Stevens and Pepe and Davis, right? And I just don't get the point of it. It's like it's almost like he's playing fantasy football in the offseason. Because like when I play fantasy football, I know, I love drafting guys. That's the best part of it, right? I'll draft as many guys as I can. It doesn't matter if they can play or not. I love picking the players.
Yeah.
But that's not how you do it on a real team. Right, you have to draft guys who fit into your roster and who are actually going to play. A couple of years ago, when they drafted Sean Wade, we did our draft show. As soon as they picked him, we're like, he's getting cut.
Yep.
No chance he makes this team. Like, what's the point of that?
Yep.
What was the point of drafting Ben Mason? No chance he makes the team. Why?
Family, Ben Mason family.
Yeah, I know. I know that one. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to bring the Harbaugh connections up all the time. That's embarrassing enough for the organization without me saying it every week.
Right.
But they don't don't have any idea how to put the team together. I know we haven't officially gone on to the front office or anything yet, but he gets an F.
Well, let's move the banner then. Let's go on. And it says coaching, but this is coaching and just the upper level people. Everybody above the players. That's what this is.
The castle.
The castle, right. So go and continue your point, B.
So EDC gets an F. Like, he's done just a god awful job. Because you do have somebody on the team who is a generational talent. I've been saying it for the past few shows we've been on. Lamar, maybe one of the most talented quarterbacks the league has ever seen, and they have done absolutely nothing with him. So he gets an F for sure. And obviously, Greg Roman, he gets an F, but John Harbaugh gets an F- for just allowing him to be Greg Roman and then pretending he has nothing to do with it. You don't throw the ball 30 times when you're averaging over 8 yards a carry. You have your running back averaging, or your lead back averaging almost a first down every time he touches it, and the other team only scored 13 points. You need to put together 2 drives, and you wouldn't have to throw the ball once. Mm-hmm. You could hand the ball to J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards all the way down the field, two separate points in the game, and you win. Yep. But they said, we're going to do it Greg's way. So
if I'm not mistaken, we get to like the 6 or the 16 or something like that, and we get 6 yards on the first down pass. Mm-hmm. And we run off 3 straight 3 straight passes, 3 more passes right after that. You get 6 yards on the first down, then you don't attempt to run it second, third, or fourth. I wonder who that's on. Go ahead, Jose.
I was ready to give Greg Roman a solid B+.
Woo!
Watching that game, because look, I graded on the curb, and look,
make sure you put it out there first.
I graded on the curb, right? Yeah. And I've been saying this whole time, Greg Roman is not a real complete offensive coordinator, right? Like, he can't. Your boy Vach, shout out to Vach. I heard him say it one time. He was saying it about the Dallas coordinator, Kellen Moore. He said he can call plays, but he can't coordinate, right? And yeah. So that's Greg Roman. That's his first problem. He can't coordinate. But he just don't know how to call passing plays. Like, that's just not his thing. But what I saw yesterday, the running plays were great, and he was doing it without Lamar.
But
right?
The running plays that are great, like I said, when I bring this tape out, it's like the same 2-3 plays.
But they were.
Look. I'm saying, but it's more so the guys executing it than him, because there's no creativity. It might be a different formation, but that 5 up front doing the same thing.
But that's why I said I was ready to, right? I was
ready to. You didn't let it finish.
We're grading on the curve. If I'm running 3 plays and the defense isn't stopping it, and I keep running, say, hey, we're gonna keep doing this until you stop it, and they can't stop it, you get an A from me. Okay. That's what the smart coaches do. We're gonna run this play until you stop it, and then we'll give you another look. If you can't stop it, maybe we're just gonna keep doing it. And the Browns could not stop it. Every time we run those plays, it's just, I don't know. He's just up the field for 20 yards. But then once we get to the red zone, then it's just like, I don't know what we do here. Should we give it to Pat Ricard? Should we try to go for this? What are we doing?
You just forget what to do. In the red zone.
Yeah. Instead of saying, look, we're going to keep just keep running the same plays, over and over. So it all fell apart. So I'm not going to give him an F-. I'm not going to give him an F. I'm giving him an F+. That's just for Greg Roman. But overall, John Harbaugh gets an F-. I can't stand this man. I cannot stand him. And then he has the nerve to go in front of the press, right? The press conference, in front of these reporters, and have an attitude with us, right? With have attitude with the fans, have an attitude with the reporters.
Yeah.
Like
the bar and talk.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I'm going back to the end of the bar as soon as we log off.
You don't know how hard it is to score 6 points in this league. It's crazy.
It's tough. It's tough to get 2 scores.
Talking about, I like my quarterback. I like our guys. I didn't see. He said, I don't remember what happened on that delay of game. Right? Yeah. You don't remember? I remember. I remember we had 2 minutes to get down the field with 3 timeouts. And you said, let's drain this clock, baby, so our field goal kicker can go out there and try to get us 3 points instead of trying to get touchdowns, right? I saw us call a timeout and just stand around like, what do we do? Oh, we got to run a play. Can we call another timeout? No, we can't call another timeout. Delay a game. You don't know what happened right there? You don't remember that? I remember, right? Like, I mean, we get the first down, we call another timeout, and then we pick up a couple more yards just to trot out Justin Tucker because laziness, right? It's laziness. They never intended with 2 full minutes and 3 timeouts. They never intended to try to score a touchdown. Their goal on that drive was always to settle for a field goal because they trust Justin Tucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Lamar's in the game, they trust Lamar, and it's always on those two, the people that they really trust to make something happen. But when those guys aren't available, they don't know what to do. It's pure laziness. So yeah, F minus for Harbaugh.
Hendo?
Oof. Greg Roman. I'm gonna give Greg Roman a C. I know a lot of people are mad.
Santa Hendo out this week.
That's right. It's the holidays. And once I've said it before. You can't. I mean, you can, but you can't fault a man for being who he is. And then you're gonna make me the highest paid person to be me. So you keep giving me contracts, you keep giving me raises to be who I am. Now, you as my boss, you allow this to happen. You go over the game plan with me throughout the week, and you say, yeah, I like that. Oh, yeah, they're the worst run defense in 22 years. Let's throw the ball. I agree with you. So what am I supposed to do? But be myself. I'm limited intellectually. Yeah. So I just go out, do what I do. You pay me to do it. You bring me back to do it. Other teams are going to hire me to do the same BS. So I give him a C just for staying in the NFL, I guess.
Yeah, for self-preservation.
It ain't even self-preservation because I'm sure when John Harbaugh called him, he was like, "What? You want me?"
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he was
already there. I just lost to y'all. Well, I mean, you know,
he was already there.
He was there with Morningwig, but he was like, "Yeah, I just lost to y'all in the Super Bowl. You want me to come over?"
Well, he got fired from Buffalo.
Well, yeah,
we got him from Buffalo.
So. Yeah, the second game of the season. So I give him that. Eric DeCosta, he gets a triple F. None of his drafts have really panned out or brought anybody of significance except for Linderbaum, Hollywood Brown. He's gone. John Harbaugh, I think he may be the biggest culprit because even though we don't like EDC, I think a lot of the power comes from Harbaugh. A lot of decision making is geared towards the kind of team that he wants. Because I don't think that EDC following after Ozzie is going to sit here and be like, well, I can't draft all choir boys, can I? I can't get all these nice guys. I need somebody that can actually play. But I think he's trying to fit the mold of the team that John Harbaugh wants to construct.
I read something that said after the Super Bowl, Harbaugh got more control over player personnel.
He did.
And I'm sure he got a little notch up. But then when it switched from Ozzie to Eric, he kind of stepped in and made that notch a lot bigger than it was.
That's because
he kind of bullied himself into a bigger role in personnel matters.
Yeah, that's because I have experience and you don't. You were an assistant GM. I've always been a head coach. So, he took that opportunity to jump in and make certain decisions because, we wouldn't draft Ben Mason in the 5th round.
Right.
If it wasn't for him and his connection. So for Harbaugh, I just, for me, I just think that he's clueless as to what's going on. He just gets a idiot grade. He's alienated with the fan base. He's alienated with the press because now people are starting to see past that ruse. They're starting to see past I got to check the film. We got to keep stacking. We got to do it. The reporter was like, yo, we making any changes? And I was surprised that he asked me like, yo, what we doing about this offense?
Right.
And he kind of showed, we're not talking about that right now. Well, what do you think the problem is, John? We got to find a way to pass better. Well, we've known that since last year.
August, September, October, November, December. Still same thing.
And he's still talking.
Don't go by months. Don't go by months, coach. You go by years with that.
But that's facts.
18, 19, 20, 21. But what I'm going to say is you either coaching it or you allowing it to happen. Still on you either way.
But he can't coach, so.
My thing with Harbaugh is no coach knows it all. If you have like a specialty, that's kind of your specialty. Like you're an offensive guy, you're offensive guy, you're defensive guy, defensive guy. In his case, he's a special teams guy. you still have to take accountability as the guy when stuff don't go right. That's what I don't like about it, because no team's gonna be perfect. No team's gonna win every game and beat people 100-0. But when stuff go wrong, say it's on me and we'll fix it. Don't start lining stuff up to throw people on the bus. Like with the receivers, he was like, well, some people gotta, run the right routes the right way, and we gotta not drop the ball. Then you gotta say all that.
Right.
My bad, my team, we gonna fix it. Now, once you got that person in a meeting or you one-on-one, then you can kind of, nitpick the different things. But as a man and as a coach, you got to come out and take the blame. Because when they win, you're gonna get the credit when they win.
But coach, I'm no longer accepting that excuse. We say Harbaugh's a special teams coach. He's been a head coach for 15 years. So for 15,
I was trying to make it.
not you, not you. I'm not talking about you.
I'm not talking about you.
But we in general, just even me. We always go with, well, he's a special teams coach. He doesn't know offense. He doesn't know defense. But him as the head coach over 15 years, it is your job now to learn a little bit about the offense, learn a little bit about the defense. And if you have not, you're naive.
Right. A lot bit. I mean, he needs to at least hear something called and be like, oh, that shit ain't and change it. Hey, run something else.
Yeah.
He needs at least be able to do that. And I don't think he even attempts to.
You don't have to.
He only says yes, go for it, or no punt.
Well, yeah. You don't even have to know the play calls. Once you see Greg Roman start throwing the ball consistently, when we've been running the ball down their throats,
How about a run here, coach?
We get no J.K. Dobbins in the fourth quarter. We get one Gus Edwards run in the fourth quarter. I don't need to know the playbook to say, what are you doing?
Right.
Fix it.
Yeah. And I hope those two guys on pitch counts. Because if they are not, there's no excuse for them not to get carries in the fourth quarter.
Then can you?
They only got 20. They only got 20 carries. That's where I was going to go. They only got 20 carries apiece. Drake should have been active.
He's in the doghouse. I told y'all.
That one play that you got in exchange for Kenny Drake.
The fumble.
No, he's talking about the special teams. He's talking about the special teams guy.
They were so active. They were so active to make this wide receiver core worse. They actively made this wide receiver core worse, right? And they just, they just thumbed their nose up at everybody that said, "Hey, you gotta go get a wide receiver. You gotta go get a wide receiver."
God damn, scientific.
John Harbaugh's Matt Rule was a generational talent QB. Wow,
that's come around here, man.
That's not that bad. Sheesh, shots. But no,
fired, man. Rule.
That's why. That's why I give him F minus because you want the team. This is how you wanted the team. This isn't injuries that's going on right here.
Right.
Right. This isn't because of injuries. It's because you said, hey, we think Duvernay can be a step up. Hey, we like Prochet. We like Tylen Walls. We like, all of our tight ends that we drafted, right? We like our guys. That's what you all hear him say. We like our guys. So then don't go around and point fingers. Mm-hmm. Hey, they gotta do this. They gotta step up. They can't. You got practice squad players out there. Right. They can't do it, but you didn't care because you're not, you didn't want wide receivers that are worried about their stats. You didn't want wide receivers that want to go out there and make plays. You wanted guys that can block and be just good enough, right? But just good enough is not good enough in today's NFL.
Nope. Not at all. And again, with the ownership, I think y'all have said it before. As long as people coming to the game and he making money, he don't care.
Yeah,
he don't care. He got two. Was he the owner for the first Super Bowl?
No.
He got a
minority owner, right?
Yes, he was. He was a minority owner. Armadale was a majority owner.
He got that Super Bowl, so he's he can be a Super Bowl winning owner forever as long as his team making money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why would I spend money to go over the cap like every winning team does when you still gonna come to my games anyway?
Yeah.
You still gonna buy merch anyway.
Yeah.
But and I'm not a millionaire. Don't claim to be. Don't know if I know enough about money to be one. But if you keep 8 on your team, he's probably gonna make you some more money. Whatever you pay him, he's probably gonna make you 3 times that.
How about that, coach? He's gonna get you on prime time. He's gonna have your team constantly in the spotlight.
Yep. Gonna have guys he's gonna have that LeBron effect. Guys will want to come play with him. Mm-hmm. But it has to be an environment to cultivate that first.
Mm-hmm.
So they get an F all around for me. Coaching, I'm gonna give little Mikey. He's anything. I give him a C minus. I give him a C minus, but the offensive coaching is bad. I want to get into and I called out, and he probably ain't hearing, but I'm just saying I called out the O-line coach, and he got his crap together. For the most part, he got his crap together.
And shout out to you. I saw that video on Steve Saunders that you did.
Oh yeah, the real ops.
Yeah.
And again, that's another minus that you add to John Harbaugh's F, because even when he knows there's a problem, he's just defiant. No, you're not going to tell me to fire my guys. I'm going to keep my guys, even though they're hurting the team. He is hurting the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give John Harbaugh an A as far as being a friend.
Yeah,
he's a great friend.
He definitely listens to Kendrick Lamar.
We need people like that in our lives. Jeez.
He's a generational friend. All right, so with that being said, that's going to
you skip Chris.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Chris. Come on, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole offensive thing, like Harbaugh saying we started passing because when you run the ball, the clock runs out. It's like, what kind of dumb shit is that? Like, what are you talking about? Like, the run game that's working, like, you're scared. It doesn't make sense. And it's like he keeps coming back week after week saying the same things. Like when it was the clock stuff, the stuff about the clock. Yeah, we know we're going to work it out. We're going to get to it. And it still happens. With the passing game, we're going to go back. We're going to look at it. We're going to improve it. That's our main goal, is improving the passing game.
It ain't much to improve off what we saw Saturday.
And it's not like we could just put this on Huntley, because it was like this when Lamar was here. It's just Lamar was making magic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just stubbornness, stupidity, like to just keep doing this over and over again. And for you to just go out and be like, you know, this is what we got. Like, this is who we are. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you not want to improve that? Like, I understand the whole running the ball, whatever. All right, cool. But if your wide receivers are going to have limited opportunities, just like in the running back room a few years ago when JK was a rookie, he was getting limited touches, but he was maximizing those touches.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you want to get wide receivers who can maximize those limited reps that they're going to have, instead of a Prochet who's not going to maximize those? It just doesn't make sense. And, you know, it's dumb. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating as hell, because you see it not working, and you see the same things in the post game press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like something's got to give. Like in the off season, I don't know if they tied down to having John Harbaugh as a coach, but something has got to change, and he cannot be in charge of hiring whoever the next OC is, if they even go that route, because the way we thinking is not the way they're thinking.
Right.
So they might be like, hey, we got to bring.
Let's bump up the quarterback coach.
Yeah, like for real. No, like that's really how they think about this stuff. So I just hope that they do that what they did with Gary Kubiak, and they bring in an outside guy who's not a handpicked John Harbaugh dude. Outside guy who can maximize Lamar's.
Just do what you're supposed to do. Advertise for the job. Let the people apply. Pick the best 5. Interview them.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Instead of just because what happens a lot of times in the NFL, they'll call guys they want, and somebody has to know somebody to get a guy to call somebody, and that's kind of the boat we in now. We ain't even really making calls. We was like, let's give little Mikey this 1 year coordinator at Michigan, see if he can do it. Then I bring him right back. All right, send him on down. And we passing off Michigan and Ravens players coaches like players.
Yep.
So this all, and then you add Stanford in the mix. That connection got even deeper when I realized about Jim and Stanford and the people that work for him. So, but
so somebody said we're being too hard on Harbaugh, but it's like there's a certain standard that you have to have. You know, the Ravens, they're not trying to be average. They're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Or that's what we think. I mean, when you have a quarterback like Lamar, you're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's the standard that we have to have. And when you have a Lamar Jackson offensive led team, the offense should not look the way that it has for the season, for the, you know, consistently for the season. It should not look that way. And that's on John Harbaugh because this is his guy that he put in place. And these are the problems that he's seen over the last couple of years. And there hasn't been any changes made to it. That's why we're harsh on him.
And we're gonna continue to be harsh on him because he is the head. He's the head coach. He's the game manager. He everything good or bad, my bad, falls back on him.
Right.
And sometimes it literally is not his fault. But because he wears that hat, he gets the blame.
What is that?
I think it's pretty consistently his fault.
Yeah,
I meant coaching in general. Sometimes the coach may not have an issue. Well, he may not be able to stop what went on.
Oh, you mean like
just any coach in general?
You mean like a healthy organization that's run properly? Like Chris is saying, you know, they're not thinking the way that we're thinking, and it's true. And I hate to say it because, you know, there's different ways to win in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, you can have different opinions, but the way Baltimore thinks is wrong. It just is. They're out there looking for running backs who could convert to corners and maybe play safety. You know, they're out there looking for edge rushers who can drop back in coverage. They're out there looking for offensive linemen who can run block instead of pass block. They're out there looking for wide receivers who can block instead of run routes and catch.
Yeah.
So
what about edge guys that can't get on the field? They look for them.
they're pretty adept at finding those guys.
Punters that can't punt.
That too now. I would have said that 3 months ago, but I'm on board with you now, Hendo. I wasn't listening at first.
You know,
they're out there trying to outsmart everybody, and they're not smarter than the other people running these other teams.
Right.
And I'm not like Hendo and Chris. I'm not calling them stupid. All right. Y'all are just being harsh tonight. But I'm just saying they're not smarter than, you know, they're not significantly smarter than everybody else who's doing this, but they think they are.
And he walks around with that air of arrogance. But my thing is, I don't care what coach you are in the NFL. How is it 15 years later, you still don't know clock management? We had the same issue with Flacco. When it comes to the 2-minute offense trying to score, they take their time. They're lollygagging to the line of scrimmage. It's no sense of urgency, and that falls on the head coach. Yep. Like, how do you not know when to take a timeout? Don't tell me that there was a problem with the headset because you got a delayed game penalty after a timeout. This isn't the first time that this happened.
Yeah. No, I'll say this about clock management. I mean, look, getting the plays in and everything, that's a Baltimore problem. It used to be a Carolina problem too. Like that's specific to them. They got to fix that. But every coach in the league is bad at clock management, right? And at some point you gotta be like, are they all bad at it, or is it just way harder than it seems sitting at home to know when to call the timeout, right?
It probably is, but again, they get paid for that.
Yeah.
Well, and this was the problem is they were coming out of a timeout and then got a delay of game penalty. That's the problem. Like,
you didn't have to play ready.
So how
they had a timeout? What do you mean?
You could have walked.
And TV timeouts are like 3-4 minutes.
You could have walked from the press box and gave the quarterback the play and walked back up, and you would have still had time.
Facts.
It's crazy. But I will do this, and Will reminded me of it today. We didn't do special teams, and this is probably gonna be the first time that we give our special teams an F.
I'm sorry, J Tuck. I was trying to not mention you. I thought about him earlier.
Right.
I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Okay, why don't we just punt that one to 2023?
Jose, what you got?
Yeah, F. And B said it right. This is why you can't play for field goals because yes, Justin Tucker is as close to automatic as it gets, but he's not automatic. He's a human being, and he can have games like that. Yep. That was a terrible series. That's the series that stuck out in my mind. That whole game is we have all these timeouts. We got time on the clock, and you drain the clock to settle for a field goal, and we miss it. I'm like, we got what we deserved right there. You know, yeah, he just had an off day. You know, great players have off days. That's all it is. But yeah, I mean, You miss a field goal. The block field goals, you know, it's hard to put that on the kicker. But you still missed it, and you know, didn't really help us out that game. So F.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go with the D there. Like, I don't really want to downgrade Justin Tucker. Like, he comes through every single time, and when anything at all goes wrong, unlike Jonathan, he stands up and says, "This game is on." I've never seen a kicker say, "This game is on me." Like,
we all know that's not true.
It's a joke, right? Yeah. But so I don't really want to go too hard on Justin. But you know, yeah, you had the missed field goal, you had the blocked field goal, so it wasn't great. We'll go with the D+ there.
Okay.
I'll take for 12 years.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one, Hendo.
I'm gonna give him an F. I mean, listen, I'm not faulting Justin Tucker for the 2 missed field goals. It happens, and we shouldn't expect the kicker to be the savior of our team. Now, I only give them an F because Devin Duvernay is not looking like an all-pro at all. His decision-making has gone down. He's looking hesitant when running the ball. Like, he just doesn't look like himself. And I don't know if it's the added pressure of being a starting wide receiver in the NFL, which some of us don't think that he is, but it's just that overall special teams is not doing their job. Even the beginning of the game, if it weren't for a penalty, you know, they broke a little long run to start the game off. Yep. So special teams just hasn't been what it's been under John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, I give it a D. It would have been an F, but it's a legacy grade for Justin Tucker, so he kind of gets some of that leeway. But you know, like everybody said, you know, he's human. He's not gonna make every single kick. Like, that's just impossible. Mm-hmm. But you know, get him out the way now. Like, that's the way I see it. Get him out the way in the regular season. But yeah, like, you know, Hendo was just saying, with Duvernay, he doesn't look like himself. You know, last year, those times that he would get those opportunities to bring the ball out, he'd be getting 30, 35, 40 yards. Now he's barely getting back to the 25. Mm-hmm. So something's got to give. I don't know what's up with him, but I don't know if he's in his head. I don't know what's up with him, but hopefully he can snap out of it, because, you know, they're going to need him for the, you know, that's valuable. That field position is so valuable, especially when you got an offense that can't move the ball, that isn't consistent. If you can win that field position game, that'll be so huge for you and your shitty offense.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
wasn't expecting the addition there.
Right. Listen, they didn't take Chris off.
So I think that about covers everybody. As far as the any news, nothing new has come out that I've seen. I think Lamar's going to play Saturday. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything different. And so let me ask this question. I'm glad you said that, Hendo. Get in and be one and done, or just don't make it and get a higher pick?
It depends if Lamar plays. If Lamar is going to play, I want him to get in, just for his resume. Mm-hmm. And listen, as bad as we look, most likely we wouldn't win, but he does give us a sliver of hope just because he's a great player.
Yeah,
and it will make it watchable, right? If he's in there. Now, if he decides, hey, you know, this ain't looking good, I'm gonna go ahead and sit this out, then we can go ahead and start looking at our, you know, putting our draft board together and you know, looking towards the offseason. I don't want to see Anthony Brown or Tyler Huntley leading this team in the playoffs.
Gotcha. Chris?
I mean, yeah, I would rather, if Lamar is healthy, of course, I would rather them be in the playoffs. Just because, you know, all it takes is for them to get hot. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all it takes. And with Lamar, we've seen crazy things happen. If Joe Flacco could do it, I think Lamar can do it as well. Even though Joe Flacco did have Bolden, he had Torrey, he had Jacoby, but Lamar is a guy who I think could carry a team when he's hot, when he's locked in. He can carry a team.
Yeah, I agree.
Hendo?
Yeah, I want Lamar to sit out the rest of the year until the playoffs. I want him to come back to see how far he can take this team. Now,
But hold on, can we win a game with them other guys though?
I think with the other teams playing, with New England and the Jets playing, I don't think we really have to. I think they're going to play themselves out of the playoffs. I think we have like a 96% chance of being in it right now.
I think that's what it was last year too.
So, but if we,
I that sounds eerily familiar. Like all we need is one more win.
So but my thing is, if we even without Lamar, if we can't beat Atlanta, do we really deserve to go? If we can't,
I'm saying if Lamar doesn't play, there's a possibility that we can be beat because we can't score with 3 points.
I think if Lamar doesn't play, we're gonna have to revisit this list of worst wide receivers that you, me, and Chris put together. Right? This is
the 2 bottom teams right here.
Yeah,
us and the Falcons.
They're playing for the title.
Right.
The K is Olamide. You know, we watching you, bro.
Right. He the X factor.
So, but I mean, if we make it, I want to see Lamar play. I want to see how far he can take this team. Unlike Chris, yes, Lamar can get as hot as fish grease in the South, but this offense ain't going nowhere near to a Super Bowl title.
I know this, not technically not your team, but if it was, would you rather sit out or try to make a run?
Oh, you got the guy at quarterback, so you want to make the playoffs and see what you can do. In terms of the rest of the regular season, I don't know all of the like the tiebreakers and everything like that, but you need to navigate your way to staying right where the hell you are, because Tennessee is probably the only team in this field you can beat.
As of right now, if we win Saturday, we pretty much in.
Yeah, but I'm saying you want to stay in that 5th seed, because right now they're scheduled to go to Tennessee. I think they'll eat Ryan Tannehill alive. That defense, and then you just got to put up however many points you can put up. Right. I wouldn't want to see them against Cincinnati, Miami, Kansas City, Buffalo.
Basically, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's a much harsher reality there. But either way, if Lamar Jackson's healthy, there's no reason to tank. You've got the guy. You go and you try to win as many games as you can win.
Gotcha. So that's where we're at with it. And before we give the outros, do I have an outro? Let me just take this off in 1 second. While I'm taking this off, there is a pin coming at the top. And if you click it, it takes you to my other channel called More Sip the Talent, where you can see, I think I just put out a video about Pat Mahomes. I did one about the 49ers and their scary defense. I just talk about other NFL teams, not the Ravens, because I know as a consumer, I go to certain channels looking for certain things. So I ain't going to a Ravens channel and then it's full of every other NFL team. If there's a Ravens channel, I'm going to come in and find Ravens channel. So I branded that channel as for the other 31 teams. So that's what that is. So if you want just regular football content, it's over there at More Sip the Talent. So please go over there and hit that subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. Now, to get everybody's outro, we'll start with you, Chris. Where they can find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking. You could also follow me on the Deep Cover Pod. We try to release an episode every week or so. A big emphasis on that "so" part, but we've been pretty consistent. So check us out.
All right, Hendo.
You can find me on YouTube at Ravens Online on Gatekeepers after every Ravens game. We also have audio podcasts that you can find wherever you get your audio podcast from. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at our Gatekeepers. And also every Friday at noon, you can catch me with my man, Mr. Galloway, on Electric Relaxation with Mr. Galloway, talking all things hip hop.
Got it. So Jose, you do y'all general thing, but I'm gonna let B go first. So he can talk. He can let us know about Mikey's stuff.
Okay, yeah.
I got OTR Mike. He has his own podcast called Open Mic with OTR Mike that comes out every Monday?
Monday at 5
a.m. So head over to his YouTube channel, hit subscribe. He's OTR. He's at OTR _ Mike on Twitter. Was it OTR Mike _ on IG? I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, you subscribe. Hit the like button, And if you happen to be an audio-only listener, make sure you leave a 5-star review. That helps with discovery and everything like that.
Yeah, we did a pop-up live stream last night, talking about it was actually very interesting. I didn't even know this. The NFL owners had a meeting about the loss, how much money they've lost on fired head coaches over these last couple
5 years.
5 years.
Or
$800 million.
$800 million
Wow.
is what they've paid out. Yes. So go check that out. You all know more about that. But yes, me and Brodney are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. We follow that up with the overtime show that you can find on patreon.com/LBHT show. And every now and then we do a live stream after Ravens and or Panthers games. And you can also check out our other channel. You see this crown, this boxing glove with the crown behind me. That is for Ring Kings podcast. We put out a episode every Monday or so ish, right? We got, we're kind of like Chris with that one. But we did a live stream for the Teofimo Lopez fight, the Bud Crawford fight, and the Frank Martin fight this past weekend. So check out that live stream. We just did that yesterday. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And also for the Ring Kings Pod, it's at Ring Kings Pod.
For those that assume that was too much, you can just go down into the not the comment section, in the more info section, and just click the link. Everybody's pinned and tagged down there. So whichever one you don't follow, don't feel like you got to remember all these names. Just go to the more info section of this video. Click either name that you don't follow. It'll take you right to that page and do so.
Can I say
While
one more
you're
thing?
following people, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I forgot. I was politely advised to mention that this Friday at 11:15 p.m. you can find myself and OTR Mike on Late Night with Suge Knight on Suge's channel, Suge Knight 323.
Gotcha.
Sure.
That is
And
Friday night hangout.
And this what you're watching right now, if you're an audio listener, right? We got the audio version of this out. So leave a 5-star review for Sip 2 Tally Films.
Indeed.
All right. And once again, click that pin link, man. Takes 2 seconds. We need to get at least 500 here. You need to get 500. You guys support us strong, man. What's better than Sip 2 Tally Films? More Sip 2 Tally Films. All right. So go over there, hit subscribe. It takes 2 seconds.
Anybody else got parting shots? So we will make this announcement. This is the last roundtable of 2022. Obviously, Christmas is next week, and everybody just needs to spend that time with their family. And Flock Nation, you all family, but our blood family and friends need our love around that time of the year. So, but we will be back. We at least got one episode in 2023. At least one, maybe two. When's the regular season end?
Like
the 9th, I think.
Around the 9th.
Yeah. So we might have two.
The 8th,
we might at least have two in 2023 to start.
Oh, we're gonna have more to talk about. Even if we might have more. Don't make the playoffs.
But yeah, I was thinking in terms of games, but we definitely gonna have more to see. But this is the last one of the year. So on your way out, before you leave, if you have not done so, click the like button. If you come back and see it later, you got some comments about what we said, put it down there. And a lot of times it ain't just me going through the comments, because if you don't like something Hendo said, he'll see it and y'all have a conversation about it. Or if you do like something you said, conversation is a good thing, because you can see other people's perspectives and they can see yours even if you don't agree. And that's just a good thing about the world in general, if you take time to have a conversation with somebody.
Indeed.
So on that note, man, we out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us for about an hour and 44 minutes, which is great time. And again, share this. On Apple Podcasts and other podcasting places will be out probably within 2 hours or so, but you guys will see it in the morning, because normally I tweet out the podcast on my way to work. I ain't got to work tomorrow, so who knows what time I'm getting up. Benefits of teaching.
Indeed.
And on that note, we out, man. See y'all in 2023. Peace.
Later.
Peace.